Hi, I'm Chris Balkcom, Assistant Extension Professor with the Crop Soil Environmental Sciences Department, Auburn University. I have a 50-50 research extension appointment. This particular project we're looking at and discussing today is evaluation of twin row spacing and seeding rates for runner peanuts. Working together with Jessica Kelton, who is a regional extension agent with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Her primary focus is on farm and agribusiness management. She helped me look at the economics of this test. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to present this data to y'all today at the APRIS meeting. Our objective of this research is to determine if the traditional 8-inch twin row spacing and recommended 6 seed per foot seeding rate is still sufficient. The research was conducted at the Wiregrass Research Extension Center in Headland, Alabama during the years of 2017, 18, and 19. As you can see here from the picture slide, the Wiregrass Research Extension Center is located in the southeast region of Alabama. Our plot design consisted of 2 varieties, Tough 511 from the University of Florida, Barry Tillman's breeding program, and Georgia 16HO from Dr. Branch, University of Georgia. We have a complete randomized block design with 4 replications. We have 4 row spacings, a single 36-inch row, and then 3 different twin row spacings of 8-inch twins, 10-inch twins, and 12-inch twins. We also have 3 different seeding rates, which was our standard 6 seed per foot, 8 seed per foot, and 10 seed per foot. Here's an example of our plot plan. We had 2 different color flags for each plot represented. One flag color would represent our seeding rate, the other flag color would represent our twin row spacing. We conducted this research with our 4-row John Deere MaxEmerge XP vacuum planter. It is equipped with the Precision Planting 2020 B drive, so we have our electric drive meters so we could really control our different seeding rates, and we have a hitch that we manufactured ourselves to be able to hook it to our quick hitch and then hook this hitch to the planter, and allows us to slide the hitch back and forth, this toolbar, to allow us to get to the different twin row spacings, whichever one that we desire. As you can see here, we have predetermined hole settings for the different row spacings so that we could simply take our threaded rod and push it back and forth, causing this hitch to slide back and forth here. It's hooked on the planter, and then drop it into the proper hole setting that we want for our desired spacing, whether it's center, which is a 36-inch single, or say if we're 4 inches offset, that allows us to be an 8-inch twin. 6-inch offset gives us a 12-inch twin. That would allow us to go down these through our plots with only 1 set of tracks, and to be able to have a consistent twin row spacing here for our twins. If we used to offset with a GPS or moved over, it would cause us to run our tire track over the edge of our rows, creating in a kind of a border effect problem, possibly with compaction and so forth. So with the hitch that we designed there to conduct this research, it allows us to travel back and forth down the row through our plot in the same wheel track, giving us that consistent spacing of what we so desired for our different twin row treatments. You can see here the standard 6 seed per foot with an 8-inch twin. This was June the 29th, 2018. You can just see how the stand looks. We also wanted to conduct this research for another reason, being in this deep sandy soil that we have right here at the upper unit at the Wiregrass Research Extension Center, which was a troop soil. We wanted to be able to look at these different twin row spacings, see if we could gain any more yield to our peanut production by having a different twin spacing. We're limited in our normal production across the state by having an 8-inch twin because of at harvest time, predominantly dry land across the state, the growing region. If we are dry in harvest season, the ground is hard, and then the wider you have the twin row here, and if it's dry at harvest time, it'll allow that peanut blade to flex, causing you most times to lose your inside twin row, and by the blade flexing and giving. So then you've defeated the purpose of having the twin rows to gain yield, and you wind up losing yield because of not being able to harvest everything that you planted. This situation, if you've got this type of soil, most of the time you're predominantly irrigated because it's so droughty and sandy, but it's also forgiving there too at harvest time. So we can put the right amount of moisture out there with the irrigation, and we're pretty forgiving with these peanut twin rows to be able to go around that digger blade and the foot on the plow and not lose any peanuts because it's so sandy. We can slice up under them, and they will just shift right over the plow because we don't have any restriction like on a stiffer, heavier soil like a Dothan soil or Tifton soil or Orangeburg, Red Bay, of that nature that you see a lot of in the growing region. Here you've got the 6 seed per foot with a 10-inch twin, so a little bit wider, on up to a 12-inch twin here with 8 seed per foot, followed by also a 10 seed per foot with a 12-inch twin. As you can see, as these wider the twins are, you can see the more trouble it would be to dig those with a digger blade under there that far apart if the ground is hard. But you know, you have some flex to the blade. With the right proper moisture and soil conditions at harvest time, you can dig these and not lose any peanuts here at this. So we wanted to see if we could gain any yield by having these other row spacing. Here's about a little over 30 days later, the 6 seed per foot with the 8-inch twin, the standard setup that we have for twin rows. You can see the canopy closure here after the previous slide there of it. This was about 30 days later, as I mentioned, and then followed by the 10-inch twin, and then so forth to the 8 seed per foot, followed by 12-inch twin, and then even a thicker canopy when you see the higher the seeding rate as a 10 seed per foot with a 12-inch twin. As we look here at the different twin versus single spacings by variety, you see the Georgia 16HO in comparison to the Tough 511 yielded statistically higher, 4,810 pounds per acre compared to 3,620 pounds per acre with the Tough 511. Now in 2018, as we look at twin versus single with Georgia 16HO, statistically we didn't have any difference that year with the Georgia 16HO in 2018 in twins versus single. Now in 2018 with the Tough 511 from Barry Tillman in Florida, we did see a statistical yield difference from twin over singles, which the 511 has always been pretty consistent to show a yield benefit to twin rows, just as it did here throughout this test. Reason why we picked 2 different varieties, not really knowing as much about the 16HO and how it would perform back then when we conducted this research. You can see here we're about 4,280 pounds per acre with the twin, with about 2,950 pounds per acre for single row. Now in 2019, there was no difference by variety between twin and single rows. Therefore, if we combined both varieties, the Georgia 16HO and the Tough 511, in 3 out of 4 times the twin rows statistically out yielded the single rows. Here you can see a twin yield benefit of 4,690 pounds per acre, statistically higher than the single row at 4,070 pounds per acre. Now, for twin rows, there was no difference between the yields when we looked at our twin treatments when comparing to each other from an 8-inch twin to a 10-inch twin to a 12-inch spacing on the twins. However, the seeding rate did show us a difference with 6 seed per foot compared to 8 seed and 10 seed per foot. As you can see here, the 10 seed per foot on the left yielded 4,770 pounds per acre, with the 8 seed per foot yielding 4,630 pounds per acre, followed by our standard traditional 6 seed per foot yielding at 4,500 pounds per acre, which was statistically lower than our 10 seed per foot at 4,770. Therefore, we took this information, and as Jessica analyzed it and looked at it as far as our economics are concerned, and we looked at our return above variable cost. So in 2017, with our average yields there, with a $400 a ton contract price, our standard 6 seed per foot yielded 4,031 pounds per acre. We had a gain of $58 per acre above our variable cost. In comparison to 8 seed per foot yielding 4,172 pounds per acre, had $48 return above variable cost. And then the 10 seed per foot yielded 4,211 pounds per acre, and we only gained $17 an acre above our variable cost. This was a $400 a ton contract price and an 80 cent a pound cost for seed. So even though we made nearly 200 pounds more with the 10 seed per foot, we only gained $17 above variable cost compared to the 6 seed. We gained $58 above variable cost, even with a 200 pound lower yield per acre. So as we look at 2018, same with a $400 a ton contract price at 6 seed per foot, in 4,770 pounds per acre. We gained $206 per acre above variable cost as our return. And then as you look at the return above variable cost for the 10 seed per foot, we had a higher yield at 5,103 pounds per acre, but yet our return above variable cost was $196 an acre. So only $10 less per acre was what our return was. Now in 2019, still looking at $400 a ton. The 6 seed per foot had a yield of 4,702 pounds per acre. We were $193 an acre above variable cost. In comparison to, say, the 10 seed per foot on the far right, yielding 5,021 pounds per acre, we had a return of $180 an acre above variable cost. So only about $13 an acre less by having the higher seeding rate. Now, as we combined all three of those years together and looked at our returns by seeding rate with a $400 a ton contract price, our 6 seed per foot yielded 4,477 pounds per acre, which was $147 an acre above variable cost. And then moving right on over to the 10 seed per foot, yielded 4,750 pounds per acre. We returned $125 an acre above variable cost. So there was about 270 something pounds an acre yield gain, but it still cost us about $25 an acre there to plant that higher seeding rate. So what if you had a higher contract price? So looking at our yields from 2018, and say our contract price was $500 a ton, which what most farmers are looking at for this year in 2021, the 6 seed per foot yielded 4,582 pounds per acre. It had a $397 an acre return above variable cost. In comparison to the 10 seed per foot, yielding 4,936 pounds per acre, it returned $409 above variable cost. So therefore, this was the only time that you ever saw the return above variable cost was higher on the 10 seed per foot than it was on the 6 seed per foot. And therefore we had a yield gain that was about 354 pounds per acre higher at the 10 seed per foot than it was on the 6 seed per foot. So therefore, our results tell us that even though we were observable yield differences between seeding rates, the returns don't outweigh the increased seed costs when contract prices are low. like what we were looking at for $400 a ton. So from an economic standpoint, higher seeding rates don't pay off unless the contract prices are higher and the growers are making the higher yields. So just like as I mentioned there a while ago, you think back to the $500 a ton contract price, and we had the yields up there over 5,000 pounds per acre. That's what it took to get a higher return above variable cost. So I know we're always hoping for the best, but if we're going to spend that more money with the seed prices, we've got to take advantage of that by having a higher contract price and a higher yield. So with that being said, I appreciate you for your attention. Appreciate the opportunity to deliver this information about our twin row spacing and seeding rate test. If you have any questions, please reach out to me here by email. My email address is listed here, or also reach out to Jessica Kelton there at her address. Thank you again.